Thanks, everyone. Can we have the screen on the slide, please? All right. Welcome back. My name is Rajeev Gollapudi. I'm a product manager for SAP Solution Manager. Many of you might know me. We have been interacting over the last few years around Solution Manager. I'm really glad that all our customers are here. Many of them I've been working with. So today in my session, I would like to give a quick outlook on what we are doing with Solution Manager going forward, and also what we've been doing so far. Many of you have gone live with Solution Manager 7.1, which is the current release of Solution Manager. Many of our winners here have all implemented Solution Manager 7.1. We will hear from them exactly what they have done post-lunch. Yeah? I'm really looking forward to those presentations. When we look at Solution Manager, first of all, I think what we have to understand is it's been a significant release for us, Solution Manager 7.1. It's already been 2 years where we have come a big step forward from 7.0. And as we see today, there are, as we counted at least, there are 6,500 customers across the globe live on Solution Manager 7.1. Yeah? And this number is growing every month. Almost 300 customers every month are going live with Solution Manager 7.1. And we see many customers taking advantage of various innovations that we have done with Solution Manager. So we have divided into different categories of awards as well today, like solution documentation and testing, incident management and change management, application operations and business process operations, etc. And we have, we also have a lot of consulting help. Just in the coffee session, someone was asking me, how do I get help in terms of implementing Service Desk in Solution Manager, for example. So we have live expert sessions and expert guided implementations. These are available to you as enterprise support customers, where somebody from SAP as an expert is helping you in actually going through these sessions. These will be remote web sessions where in a span of 3 to 5 days, you're able to implement the out-of-the-box functionality of Solution Manager. Yeah. Super. That's a very good number. Just to let you know, 7.0 is going out of maintenance by end of this year. So I will encourage all the others to also seriously consider upgrading to Solution Manager 7.1. Yeah? So it's a very important topic for us. So by end of this year, 7.0 is actually going out of maintenance. So you need to consider upgrading to 7.1. Right? So we also have a Solution Manager book, which actually describes very much in length exactly what we are offering as part of this product. Some of our winners have also got a copy of this book, and it's been quite popular as well, where a lot of customers are looking at all of these avenues to actually get knowledge about Solution Manager. Another important platform is also Service Marketplace. Many customers do not know there is extensive amount of material on Solution Manager available on Service Marketplace, including knowledge sessions as well as how-to guides. We from product management, like myself and my colleague Sonal and Vikas, etc., we actually put in a lot of our content on Service Marketplace. That's our channel in which we actually communicate user guides, how-to guides, documentations, demos and presentations, etc. And we have also developed certain mobile applications for Solution Manager in certain areas, like in application operations, in incident management, change management, etc. So there are apps available both on iOS as well as on Android platforms, which are available for download both from iTunes as well as from Google App Store. So these are available to you as well. So you will be able to use these apps on top of your SAP Solution Manager installation as well, right? So message on this slide, 7.1 has been live, is live, and there are thousands of customers who are live with Solution Manager 7.1, and it's been a stable platform. It's already been 2 years. We've been shipping certain enhancements, some of which is what I will talk about in this presentation as well. But we are more or less getting to a stage where 7.1 is stable now, and we will not ship too many new functionalities going forward. So this will be our stable platform for the next couple of years. Yeah. This slide here is trying to summarize what we do with Solution Manager. Yeah, so many of you are probably have seen this slide many times and also gone through it in terms of the different processes. At the end of the day, what we are doing with Solution Manager is that we are trying to optimize IT processes, right? So when you look at this slide, everything that we are talking about here are nothing but day-to-day IT processes that you guys are going through in your IT organizations, right? So when we start from the top left corner, we are talking about your day-to-day service operations in terms of IT service management, where your end users, if they have an issue, they're logging an incident, and you as an IT team are responding to these incidents in terms of figuring out what is the problem, doing a root cause analysis, and sometimes these problems might require a change in the system, so that problem will then become a request for change. Or on a day-to-day basis, your end users are asking you for small little changes, minor changes, so wherein the end user is asking for an enhancement, and then that comes in as a request for change as well. So this is your day-to-day business for you. On the other hand, when you look at a more strategic approach, wherein you're talking about planning for the next 2 years, looking at what kind of projects that you want to take up, then you would look at a portfolio of all large requirements based on the business strategy, and then figure out which IT projects you want to take up from a portfolio of these large projects and plan, let's say, for the next 2 years. And that's when we talk about IT project and portfolio management, wherein you're looking at a portfolio of your requirements, combining them into different projects and initiating these projects to run them, let's say, in a longer horizon. Yeah? Whether you're talking about smaller changes or larger changes, eventually you have to implement these projects, implement these changes into your system, right? So that's when we talk about application lifecycle management, where we are talking about designing these changes, documenting these specifications, building these changes, testing these changes, deploying these changes into production, right? So how to efficiently do all these different processes, right from design to deploy, yeah, is what we will cover in application lifecycle management. Right. Once these processes are live, once these applications are live, then we talk about operations, where we talk about application operations and business process operations, both from a technical application level as well as from a business process point of view. You are then managing the health of these solutions which are live. Right? So these are about looking at the systems from a technical point of view, looking at the instances, making sure they are all healthy. Right? So when we look at the application operations presentation from, let's say, Kansai Nerolac in the afternoon, we will see how they are managing it with Solution Manager, for example. Right? And then the other part is looking at it from a business process point of view. At the end of the day, each of these SAP solutions are nothing but business applications, so which means that there are business users running their business processes on your SAP solutions. So when we talk about the health of the system, it is not enough just to look at it from a technical point of view, from an infrastructure point of view, but also look at it from a business process point of view to ensure that these business processes are running, right, correctly as they were defined. Yeah? So that's when we look into areas of business process operations. Right? All in all, these are the kind of IT processes that are efficiently managed with Solution Manager. So everything that you see on the slide here are things that you can do with Solution Manager, right from incident management, change management, to deploying those changes, to testing those changes, changes not just done by you, but also changes coming in the form of upgrades, for example. So how can you better manage your upgrades and so on and so forth. Yeah? So these are the things that we cover with Solution Manager. And one of the important messages is that we want Solution Manager to become your single source of truth. Yeah? So this has been a message that we've been trying to put across. Actually, this is a term that was invented by one of our customers, Colgate, where when we asked them, what is Solution Manager for you? The answer came saying that it's a single source of truth for me. Yeah? Single source of truth about your business processes, what processes are running on my SAP systems, single source of truth about the systems, so which systems are there, how are they connected, single source of truth about the changes that are going in, single source of truth about the incidents that are happening in this system, and so on and so forth. Right? All in all, we are trying to drive this message wherein everything and anything an IT organization needs, yeah, they should be able to find it in Solution Manager. At least that's the kind of vision that we have with Solution Manager. Right? When it comes to strategy, what we are also trying to do with Solution Manager when it comes to optimizing the processes, one of the key things is that we want to have a more efficient build process. And why do we need that? when you look at SAP strategy as such and what Manish touched upon this morning, also there's a lot that we are doing with both business applications as well as with technology. There's a lot of changes that are coming, a lot of innovations that are coming from SAP to you. And what it means to you is that you need to deploy these innovations as quickly as possible. We want you to deploy them as quickly as possible, which means that it will not be sufficient for you to sit back and say that I will not upgrade for 2 years. Then you are missing out on a lot of innovations that are coming from SAP. And there's lots and lots that is happening, especially with Business Suite on HANA, which is relatively a new platform. What it means is that there are a lot of changes that are happening in the system based on the customer feedback. So there's a lot that is coming out as innovations as well. Yeah? So we need to be more efficient, more nimble in terms of taking up these innovations and these upgrades as quickly as possible. And we believe Solution Manager is a platform that can help you in becoming more efficient with respect to deploying these changes. Right? And one of the key aspects for us from a strategy to drive is that we want you to have 2 value releases per year. Yeah? So this is a concept that we have put together wherein we want you to upgrade, for example, twice a year at least. Yeah? Now, something like this might be very difficult for many customers, yeah? Not because they don't want to do it, just purely because timing-wise, it just seems impossible, right? To be able to upgrade, to be able to test your entire solution at least twice a year, right? To be able to combine not just SAP innovations, but also projects that you are doing, yeah, on a day-to-day basis into these releases so that you will be able to respond not just to taking up SAP innovations, but also to the requirements that are coming from your business. Right? So many of the processes that we are trying to optimize with Solution Manager are, we believe, are helping in being able to achieve this kind of a goal. Right? So we have customers actually across the globe who actually do this on a regular basis. So what it means is that, for example, a customer like Nike in the US, they do 2 releases per year. So they actually take up SAP upgrades twice a year. And not just SAP upgrades, so they actually combine them into also the projects that they take up, they actually go live twice a year as well. So what it means is that it's not just about doing the upgrades, but also synchronizing your projects so that they go live twice a year together. For example, in a year, if you're taking up 15 different projects, right, synchronizing the go live of these projects twice a year and also adding the SAP upgrades to it is what we are trying to achieve with the concept of 2 value releases per year. And you will hear more and more about this as we go along. This is something that we believe is extremely important, not just for your current platform, but also looking into the future, especially when we talk about Business Suite on HANA and the other innovations that are coming in. To be able to take up more and more SAP innovations more quickly is something that we are trying to drive with Solution Manager as well. So there's a white paper that we've written which explains how different functionalities of Solution Manager can help you in achieving this goal, as well as what we are doing with BPCA as well. So it will give you an idea of what would be the adjustment efforts for the custom code even before you do an upgrade, and that will be done with scope and effort analyzer as well. And when it comes to run SAP like a factory, which is about application operations and business process operations, as you know, 7.1 has been a significant step forward from the erstwhile monitoring capabilities that we have with central CCMS, etc. What we have done in the past already is that with 7.1, there was a new infrastructure that was given to you in the form of a monitoring and alerting infrastructure, which was shipped with Solution Manager 7.1 already. And these are some of the planned extensions, some of which will be covered by Giri and Vikas as well in the next session. One of the important things that is coming up is the guided procedure framework, which will allow you to have a framework to actually create wizards. Yeah, you might have experienced this already when you have gone to the Solman setup. So when you do Solman setup for initial and basic configuration, there is a wizard-based approach of actually going through step-by-step configuration of Solution Manager. The same framework will now be available for you to do more tasks. Yeah, IT related administrative tasks. You can define your own guided procedures as well, and then actually create these wizards so that administrators can actually go through these guided procedures to actually perform their day-to-day tasks as well. Yeah, so this is something that is coming up going forward. There is also a unification of the infrastructures. As you might know, there are 2 different monitoring infrastructures that we have today in Solution Manager 7.1. One is used for technical or application monitoring, The other one is used for business process monitoring. So these two are using two different infrastructures. So we are trying to unify that into a single infrastructure going forward with Solution Manager 7.1 upcoming releases as well. And as Manish talked about, there are very many new technologies that SAP is coming out with, both with acquisitions as well as our own technologies. So it is important for us from Solution Manager to actually be able to support all these different new technology stacks. So being able to support HANA or mobile devices, Sybase Unwired platform, etc. So we need to keep ourselves up to date to be able to monitor these new servers and systems from SAP as well. So that's something that is a constant thing going forward. The other thing, as I mentioned, one of the key things is also the infrastructure piece. So this is not something, not just from an infrastructure point of view, also from a user interface point of view, the business process monitoring will be redefined, and then you will have a better user interface going forward for business process monitoring, leveraging the unified infrastructure, which is then combining the infrastructure that was used today for business process monitoring and the infrastructure that is used today for technical monitoring into a single infrastructure going forward. And that will be based on the technical monitoring infrastructure, which has been our robust infrastructure for technical or system level monitoring, and this is what will be used for business process monitoring as well. Yeah. So this is a quick screenshot on how the new monitoring application for business processes would look like going forward, where once we have achieved the unification. So how does it look going beyond SP10? So as I mentioned, 7.1 is already a pretty robust platform. There are these Delta innovations that I've just talked about that are coming with the next SP10 and 11. SP10 is slated to be released Q4 of this year, and SP11 would be Q1, Q2 next year is when you can expect SP11. And most of these innovations that I've talked about so far are all part of SP10. A couple of them might be spilled into SP11 as well. So just to summarize, so this has been our strength, running SAP like a factory, or sometimes it's also called as building SAP like a factory on the other side, or application lifecycle management are our strengths. This is something that we've been doing in the last couple of years, especially with Solution Manager 7.1. So a lot of our customers have implemented, many of which you will also hear this afternoon. So the next level for us is to get into IT strategy and release management. So we've already made strides into integrating with some of our ERP applications, for example, for asset management, right? So when you have a laptop that is purchased and that has a maintenance contract to it, how can that be integrated into incident management so that when you get an incident for a laptop, can I get the maintenance contract information into the incident management system, for example? This integration is already possible. Yeah? If you have the asset management in ERP already done, then we can integrate that into Solution Manager, for example. So these kind of integrations are already possible with ERP. Some of the 15 ITIL processes are about financials and asset management for service management capabilities. That is something that is already possible. And going forward, what we are looking at is how can we better support business with Solution Manager. As you can see, it's a very well laid platform for IT process automation, IT process efficiencies. That's something that we've been doing and doing quite well. And going forward, we're also trying to see what else can we do for business directly. For example, one of the capabilities that is already there in this space is business process monitoring and analytics, wherein business can actually directly take benefit from using Solution Manager. So going forward, we're going to add more capabilities to help get business benefits directly from Solution Manager, because there's a lot of things that we already know in Solution Manager in terms of how processes are running, how they are being used, who are using it, who are not using it, can I benchmark it with other companies, etc. There's a lot of information that is already available in Solution Manager, so we are trying to leverage that to be able to help business as well. Right? Finally, important message that 7.0 is going out of maintenance by end of this year. So if you are on Solution Manager 7.0, I strongly recommend you to consider the upgrade to 7.1. It is a very robust platform, already been out there for a couple of years now. So please take important note about the upgrade. And this white paper is already available on Service Marketplace. If you go to service.sap.com/ALM, you will find this white paper, which is then talking about the 2 value releases per year concept, how you can achieve this with various capabilities of Solution Manager. That is something that is already out there. With that, thank you very much. We'll move on to the next session now. Thanks. We'll take it offline because we have to go into the next session. Yes, please. Okay. Sure. Please.
There's a pain area in SAP. Solutions apart, from a user perspective, there is a licensing fee.
Right.
You know, you have a variety of categories of professional, limited professional, shop floor, and blah blah. It goes on. There's a white paper also which I've downloaded, and it gets confusing.
Okay.
I want to know, does Solution Manager have any solution where you run it, and based on the roles that have been created for the users, it comes and tells you upfront that this user has to be a professional, because at the end of the year, when you do your self-analysis and submit to the audit team, they come back and tell you that, look, you have got 100 limited professionals, they have actually got to be professional. And then there's a high charge that is charged to you, and you get into a negotiation mode, and you finally...
I think it's a valid use case. Yeah, we don't have something as exactly like what you have mentioned. We do have license management that is coming up. I can cover that a little later, but not to the extent of figuring out whether you need limited license or limited professional, etc., based on the usage. It makes sense because there's a lot of usage data that we are collecting in Solution Manager. Yeah, we can leverage that to actually give that recommendation, but nothing like that is being planned. But I can take that feedback and see if we can.
So how can Indus be used to help?
And in one of these calls, the first call in fact, the same thing cropped up, saying that is there a system which can directly tell me in terms of my usage, what license is supposed to be in what category. So there are a couple of things which need to be considered here. One is the limited professional licenses are defined specific to customers. So it's an open kind of a specification saying that it has limited functionality, and what that limited functionality is being discussed and defined in each and every customer's EULA. So that's the only challenge that I was told, but we have already given this feedback to the central global office of compliance, and I think with Rajeev taking this feedback as a valid use case, I think we will see something coming out from a solution perspective from SAP in the midterm. So I can't commit that it will come in the next 2-3 months, but in the midterm, I can confirmly say that this is a requirement which has already gone back to the global team, and they have agreed that this is something that they will work on. So I don't know whether it will come in Solution Manager or as a separate tool. So that's something which the product guys need to decide. But that's a very valid question, and the feedback has already been given to the concerned teams, and they have agreed that this is something that they would like to work on. And beyond that, in terms of license definition is what you said. So we do keep running meet and expert session for Indus, and one of the topics that we keep covering is the license definitions. So we also shared recently, 1.5 months back, there was a license guide which was released by SAP globally, and that guide is a culmination of definitions of all the different licenses that SAP provides. It not only defines these licenses, but it also gives practical examples of scenarios in which each of these licenses are applicable. So if you have not received the guide, it is already available on the JAM site. So when you get the invitation for the JAM group, please accept it, and if you just go to the JAM group, you'll find that the guide is already available on the JAM group. The guide is also available on Service Marketplace. If you go to service.sap.com/user-groups, there you'll find Indus, and under Indus you'll find a link to the license guide as well, so which you can download and keep for your reference.
Right. Thank you.
solution in India? Okay. Okay.
So I will take this as a feedback for interest and try and see we can share some of the information that is already available for people to see on one case, so that you can see it there. Also, at any point in time, if you have any such query, just drop over to interest and someone will interest will get that. I am ready. My place. I am very clear.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know whether many people around here know what SAP Design Guild does.
Design?
Guild.
Okay.
Can you highlight that, because
Are you talking about design thinking?
Design Guild.
Okay.
So design guild is close community of users who do testing for design, new designs, recipes coming out of the UI interfaces. So it's a global closed community, and anyone who's interested in participating as a end user to test what SAP is putting out in terms of design can join the design guild. So it's a UI UX kind of a community that is primarily active in the US.
That's not true, what they say.
At least that's the information that I have.
That's not right. That's why I said the question for him. That's why I didn't ask you the question. I asked the question to him. Design Guild basically is a group of people within SAP in Germany who do a lot of updates on user interface.
User interface UX.
You understand this?
Yeah. So
That's why I said I don't want you to answer. I don't want you to answer. He said he doesn't know, it's good to go.
Okay. So
What this gentleman said was very correct. He said being customized by SAP for certain customers for which we don't have enough information, so you will look at it and give it to us. That's what he said, right? I understand that.
So personas is not exactly a custom solution, it's a product. Okay.
And it's customized for certain customers. If I heard him right.
No, it's customized for certain scenarios of usage which we have productized, which we are selling. So it's, if anybody in this room wants to buy, for example, I have a standard product, standard price, which I can go and sell. It's not, you know, for you I will make it and give it to you.
The reason why I provoked this scenario was, sorry,
Yeah.
because I want you to take a feedback from users like me.
Sure.
Where German users may have a certain need of a certain user interface, but Indian users definitely would not want to use that kind of interface because for them it's not important.
I agree.
Because I'm also part of the education industry in this country, where I teach fundamentals of ERP and what SAP is trying to teach through its highly complex interfaces to students who will be able to appreciate what's going to come in the next couple of years to out to the coming generation again. So the point is, Design Guild is a very highly close-knit body in SAP, Germany. And it's so highly close-knit that they will not send you mails until they really know them.
So if you notice, I brought up the topic of user interface because I know it's a painful topic. You are right that there's no German in the room. The German way of looking at things is very structured. They like to see a lot of things in one place so that they can correlate. But a lot of the other worlds, and I think India sort of is aligned to the US way as well in terms of simplicity. They are looking at that kind of interface. So a lot of these solutions that I'm talking about that are coming out of our Palo Alto labs. That said, the second piece, the follow-on part to your comment, is the reason why this guy is pushing the Indus group. The feedback.
Nothing is that. I'm only saying that that's very important.
No, feedback taken.
Join it. I never received any mail from Indus except asking you to come to the seminar.
That's a feedback for him.
That's not true, sir. If you are getting one email, I'm sure you should be getting other set of emails as well.
So
Because I'm a very poor speaker and I couldn't get a damn what is speaking.
let me interrupt.
Or I get invited only because people like you call me. It's because at the end of the day, there is somebody who's going to bring about something.
Which is good, which is nice, and I call a spade a spade. I'll give you bold answers, so we can take this offline. A follow-up point to your question earlier in his session on the university alliances, Indus is not entirely around the education piece. There is a separate program for university alliances. I can connect you there as well.
So,
where
Manish, all invites from Indus for all Indus activities also go to the guys who run the
Alliances,
University Alliance
university,
program,
okay.
and they decide which invites to forward to their professors.
Sure.
So
But feedback taken.
Sorry if you felt hurt, but see, I have not received, to be honest with you, but I have also told you guys that it was an extremely competent personality whoever did this organization to get me there. So nobody likes me. So if you got me, it's a great thing. First of all, let me tell you. Okay. There are many things that I would like to talk about here, but it is not within the scope of the discussion, so I don't want to.
We can have the conversation over coffee. I'm happy to have a conversation. I'm telling you, I'm okay to have the conversation. Don't worry about it. The next one, where a lot of questions come around, okay, what is cloud for SAP? Is it, I can buy software subscription licenses of SAP? What do I do, etc. I think, you peel the onion of cloud, what definition a specific customer wants to use for the problem that he has at hand. I know customers who have had their SAP applications hosted in a data center, in a remote data center way back in 2007 itself, where they have been using it, where the infrastructure is managed by somebody else. They just pay a per month license plus usage fee to that provider. Okay, so that has existed for a while now. What customers are starting to play around with today is also to quickly deploy a test dev environment in AWS. Bring up an instance of SAP in AWS, bring up a demo environment so that they can play around with things, let's say a persona things, can I see how it works, before deciding to see if they want to do it on premise. Then there are customers who are now deploying everything into a HANA Enterprise Cloud that I talked about. Okay, I just want SAP to manage it. There are customers who are deploying it into another managed cloud service provider. So everybody mixing and matching. The last one is applications like the SuccessFactors, Ariba or Salesforce, etc. They're your pure software as a service, where you don't care about anything except for the usage, right? You're just buying the application usage. That is also there. Okay, so the conversation with customers is across this. So when you ask, SAP doesn't do cloud, what does that mean? It does. I think it's more important to understand what do you want and how can you consume these things. Many customers have now started to do the hybrid model. So they are having the ERP on premise. They have the HR system, let's say SuccessFactors on the cloud. They're starting to integrate these two things and looking at, okay, how do we start doing new things on a hosted or a cloud-based application and integrate it back onto the on-premise. It's sort of like the outsourcing model. I want to keep my core internal, but for others, where I'm okay with the volume kind of thing, I can outsource to a cloud view. So that's the conversation that we're having. I think the important thing that I wanted to bring out here is the conversation with SAP has now changed. Right? We can have a conversation around the VMware piece, which we talked about. We can have a conversation around hosting. We can have a conversation around data management, middleware, technology pieces, mobile application development, the ERP pieces, supply chain, etc. I think that's the important part, but the most important one where we focus on is the business outcome. I think that's our guiding principle. Okay, and we encourage customers also to start looking at how will a particular technology help you. Just because, let's say HANA is fast, doesn't make sense. What is the business impact? Just because everybody else is deploying mobile applications doesn't mean that you have to. What is the business improvement that would come from deploying a mobile applications? And we have a lot of content in terms of benchmark data, where we have data around how customers have benefited from using a lot of solutions in business processes, which we share in our engagements. to summarize, that's what is driving our technology strategies. We want to make a lot of things simple in terms of managing your infrastructure as well, and you hear a lot about it in the solution manager session, because solution manager remains the central nervous system for all of these applications. How do you manage all of these things together? Okay. So that was a quick 5-minute snapshot of what we're doing from a strategy perspective. Happy to take questions. Happy to have a conversation during coffee as well. Thank you.